Framers, good day to you. I like my new hat. Do you like my new hat? I bought it yesterday. It's very nice. Very cool. Very cool. So, today, little framers, we are going to be discussing something crazy. Something wild. Something that needs to be discussed that you all might find interesting. And you're probably wondering, he's covering this? Yes! Yes, I am going to be teaching you all about a word. Not just any word. Gatekeeping. So what does gatekeeping mean? What is it? Well, could mean anything. Could mean a few things. It does actually mean a few things. Why don't we just get on into it? So, we've got 3 definitions here. They all vary. They're all very different, okay? So, you've got gatekeeper. A gatekeeper is a person who controls access to something. For example, via city gate or bouncer, or more abstractly, controls who is granted access to a category or status. Gatekeepers assess who is in or out, in the classic words of management scholar Kate Lewing. Okay, so like, you know, you want to get into a club and bouncer's like, no sir. And then, or more abstractly, controls who is granted access to a category or status. So, you know, you want to be a VIP, you got to pay money, you know, stuff like that. Then you got this one right here. That comes from Wikipedia. Then there's this one just straight from Google. Gatekeeping. The activity of controlling and usually limiting general access to something. So kind of the same definition here, but it is a little different. So yeah, and then there's this one from Urban Dictionary. Okay, gatekeeping. When someone takes it upon themselves to decide who does or does not have access or rights to a community or identity. So there was an example in Urban Dictionary where, like, let's say you're a big fan of pig deathcore, and someone's like, that is not lit, fam. Okay, they say that. Then you feel sad. You're not allowed to like pig deathcore. It's insane. It's almost like, and I'll bring it up at the end again, if anyone knows what gaslighting means. Gaslighting is making someone believe that they're in the wrong when they're in the right. You're tricking someone. You're gaslighting. Like, let's say, you're like, you're crazy. That's, it gets, like, gaslighting it's toxic. But I'll bring it up at the end. We're not going to bring it up now. But what we really need to talk about is super important, class, okay? We're going to talk about Free Realm Sunrise. So there was a lot of gatekeeping in Free Realm Sunrise. This I know. For one, there's a lot you're not allowed to talk about in Free Realm Sunrise in terms of, like, OSFR. You're not allowed. This one makes me mad. You're not allowed to talk about Weerox's. Let me make sure I'm saying his name right. Yeah, you're not allowed to talk about Weerox's TCG project. Now, what is that? I have a video on that. Look it up. It's called Free Realm Sunrise TCG Returns. If you want to watch it, you can. It's very cool. You're not allowed to talk about it in the Free Realm Sunrise sectional because apparently it's promoting it. But then again, it's not even the game. It's literally the coolest thing that was made while Free Realm Sunrise hasn't been out. The fact that you're not allowed to promote it hurts me to my core, dude. It's silly. It's silly. Like, you're also not allowed to, like people on staff, they're not allowed to talk about anything that goes on. Like, they're not allowed to talk about progress. They're not allowed to talk about anything regarding the project and where it's at. The only thing we get to know is when a video comes out. That's it. We'll see a video pop up, and that's what we get. So there's a lot of gatekeeping in that regard, and it's crazy. It's insane that we're not allowed to know stuff. Like, I'll use him as an example again because he's a cool dude. Michael, he was pretty open about certain things, and he got let go from the team. I don't know for what reason. If that was the reason, that sucks. But it's super silly. It's super dumb that you can't say anything. This is a, the revival of a game, and you have to sign an NDA? Like, it's a little silly that there's a lot of gatekeeping going on. It's a little bonkers, a little ridiculous. Okay? Now, let's move on to the next point. FRS Enforcement. They do a lot of gatekeeping. A lot. More than you think. Like, there's gatekeeping for if you're not on topic in a text channel, which is dumb. I'll stress it, or I can't stress it enough, actually, that the text channels, you should be allowed to talk about whatever you want in them. Like, it's so weird. Like, dude, if I'm here's the thing, right? Let's say in Freedom Summarize, I'm talking about Fortnite, and they're like, move it off topic, you little idiot. And I'm just like, cool, I'm just not going to talk anymore. That is gatekeeping. You're gatekeeping people from having a conversation. What that does is kill the conversation. And then I don't bother anymore. But see, I don't talk about Fortnite, so I was just using that example. But it is straight silly to gatekeep a conversation or whatever. Like, then there's also times where, I don't know, we're memeing. We're saying a single word. We're spamming it. And then they're like, guys, stop spamming the word. Stop doing that. Gatekeeping. There's a lot of gatekeeping going on. A lot. Then there's like little things like, there's like little things enforcers get like upset about in the Discord that goes on. And it's a form of gatekeeping, usually. It's a form of, like, every time something's like brought up or post something and enforcer steps in, most of the time it's gatekeeping. Sometimes I haven't seen, like, since the chat's reopened, it's rare where I see, like, it's rare when I see a good example of enforcement being used. Usually it's gatekeeping. So it sucks, man. It really does, because I don't know. That's like the biggest form of gatekeeping right now is enforcement. So let's keep going. Let's keep elaborating on gatekeeping. Freedom's lore. So for those who don't know, I did write lore for Freedoms, called Look at the Draw. I really enjoyed writing it. I think it's the best, like, it's the first thing I've written, but it's also my favorite thing that I've written. I loved writing it. Now, a lot of gatekeeping goes on with the lore nerds, Like, Freedom's lore, it's so old, right? It's old. It's years old. What is it? It's coming up on 10 years of it being old. Or I don't know, if we go back to 2009, it's over 10 years old. But, like, I really think Freedom's lore should be allowed to be changed. Like, I do think it's silly that certain people in the Discord like to gatekeep lore. Like, I'm trying to think of examples. There's times where I bring up something I wrote in my story that I would like to be true, that I would like to be canon, and then someone will say, oh, that's not how that happened. That's not how this works. No. No, it went like this. Or like, I'll be talking about certain lore that I wrote, or like that should happen or should have happened, and then they're like, oh, but what if this happened, or this should have happened? Like, there's certain gatekeeping going on in that aspect where lore is being controlled, and you're not allowed to change it. You're not allowed to do a thing about it. It has to stay the same no matter what, which I think is stupid. I think you should be allowed to change how the lore is for it to make sense. You know, and I think, like, Luck of the Draw, the story I wrote, made the Freelms lore better. You can argue it didn't. You could argue that it's a stupid fanfic that some teenager wrote in their free time. But, like, I don't know. I think I did a really good job of portraying Freelms in a bigger aspect. And yeah, it's just a little silly that has to be gate kept. It's really dumb. It's really silly. So, anyway, moving on from that. r/Freelms. So Reddit does a little bit of gatekeeping. Not a lot, but there is gatekeeping on there. Now, if you guys didn't know, Ryul, the web designer on the Freelms subreddit staff, owns the Reddit. You didn't know that, did you? Well, now you do. It's a fun fact. And then there's mods on the Reddit that are actually FRS enforcers. So I noticed, like, reading some of the Reddit posts, there is gatekeeping going on. Like, you're not allowed to talk about certain things. You're not allowed to bring up, like, bans. You're not allowed to bring up conversations that are had in the Discord. And again, going back to that Discord, it's silly. You're not allowed to talk about certain things. This gatekeeping thing is dumb. It's so dumb. There's so much you can't talk about. This is, like, the community is deteriorating because of gatekeeping. You can tell me I'm wrong, but in another video, I'm going to be talking about why it's deteriorating and what's happening. Okay, so it is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers that we have to say certain things, or we have to be like this, be like that. And yeah, the Reddit doesn't do it a lot, but, like, there are moments where I'm just like, you should be able to let people say what they want to say. It's a Reddit. Reddit's where you can speak your mind. The Discord, you're not allowed to speak your mind in there, which sucks. It's a bummer. So, to kind of wrap it up, gatekeeping, again, is similar to gaslighting, okay, in the way that it's toxic and unhealthy in a relationship or community. Like this one, it's super toxic. It is unhealthy too. Like, gatekeeping and gaslighting, they're not the same thing, but they have similar traits. Like, you know, saying you like something, and then someone says, "Oh no, that's bad. You shouldn't like that." It's almost like gaslighting, where you're saying you're wrong, I'm right, you know? But yeah, I've been like, you know, I back the project. I back FRS 100%. But I think this gatekeeping thing is super wrong. Shouldn't be a thing. And, you know, I think when FRS does come out, things need to change. Like 100%. Like, I think the gatekeeping needs to stop. They need to be open about the project. And just, oh my god, dude, it's insane. It's actually crazy. And if the game doesn't come out, you can blame gatekeeping on it. Like, that's what it comes down to. Blame it on gatekeeping. Like, it's just, dude, I'm done with it. It's so silly and childish, and again, toxic and unhealthy. Yeah, I think that's kind of the point I just wanted to make. Gatekeeping bad. Do not gatekeep. Like, oh my lord. Oh boy. I think that's all I got for today. But But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you did, I appreciate it a ton. I'll see you guys in the video where, you know, there's no drama going on. Jokes. All right, bye.